Final starter on the field. 40 modifieds checked in for the racing action tonight, so 40 cars tonight. I believe the lowest car count we had the entire week was 33 or 36. I can't remember exactly, but incredible field of cars. There was about 30 modifieds that followed. The entire series was at every race here in 2015. What an incredible week it's been, and tonight, an incredible night to end it off as away we go. First green flag of the night goes up. Monty Bischoff will lead the charge down into turn number 1 and 2. Brandon Potter working topside of the racetrack. Shank and German right there in the 75X cars. Joe German's going to run her deep into turn number 3. Bring that baby around right up to the back bumper of the 83L car, who last night had some issues. He said he's going to throw a different carburetor on today and see if he can calm it down. Couldn't quite feather on the throttle the way he needed to. As right now he's got that baby hooked up. Scott Lenz, the 83L car, is on the hunt. Bischoff up front in battle. Back behind as we watch him coming out turn number 1. Travis Peary, a little different look tonight as he's got a different body panel on the side of the 6P car. He's got the old PCD back out here. They were working on it all day down in the pits. The body panel off the right-hand side from his Las Vegas cars. Look out, contact up front. Joe German able to get to the inside of Scott Lenz. Just kind of roughed him out of the way right there as the 75X cars definitely got something for Monty Bischoff in the F1 car. Bischoff and German going to duke it out over that number 1 position on the racetrack, as here comes Joe German down the inside. Kept it outside of Bischoff. The F1 cars. Bischoff hustles into turn number 1 and 2. Working the middle of the racetrack. Joe German about a half car width down below. Tries to challenge down the back straightaway. Not quite enough horses to make it happen right there. Plenty of traction to be found. Just needs to get it hustling. Cross flags come out halfway through. Lap number 5 of 10 complete here in this first round of heat race number 1. As German slides up way high, tags the wall. There goes Lenz down the inside. Here comes Travis Peary. Peary, who had started 7th on the field, looking to take up 3 wide for the number 2 spot there. Had to back out the throttles. He was close to the apron of the racetrack. He's settled into 4th right now, but I don't believe he's done just yet as Peary gasses up the PCD. Precision Chassis Development. Tuned in here on Speed Shift TV as well. Welcome aboard. Thanks for joining us. Peary may have shown his hand. Tail of the field, I told you to watch Jeremy Shank. He's picking him off. Look at that, blew a mud plug off. A dirt defender flies up across the racetrack right there as Shank blew around the outside of the number 11 car. Now goes to work on Craig Hansen in the 33C. Joe German. You see him total along second on the field. The 75X car tosses it into the corner, just trying to carry as much speed as possible, and unfortunately, not good on the exits. He spins the tires and allows Scott Lenz to close. The white flag comes out up front for Bischoff. Final time around the 3rd mile. As German and Lenz, 2nd and 3rd. Peary runs 4th. 5th belongs to Zach Olson, the 4Z car. He started 6th, so he'll be scored at least 1 more position up from his initial starts and gets those passing points. As here comes the checkered flag for Bischoff up front. Joe German, the 75X car, started 4th. He'll finish out 2nd. Scott Lenz, the 83L car, started 3rd. He will finish 3rd. Travis Peary from 7th to 4th. Here in heat race number 1, now takes into the 2nd. Keep forgetting that. And we're okay with that. We support everybody. Here comes the green flag. Speed Shift TV version of Caitlin's what it is. Up front, look out, holy smokes, Ethan Landers tossed that baby into turn number 1 and 2. He's out of the gas. Trouble for the 57 car. Now he's got to run again. I think he scared himself down there. He threw it in there so hard he was going to make a charge on him. He could have picked up about 4 spots if he'd have stuck with it. Cale Carter, the 48 car, is your race leader. However, former sprint car champ behind the wheel, the number 48, used to be from the Pacific Northwest, now calls Lake Havasu City, Arizona home. As right behind comes Troy Morris Jr., 07X car, started 4th. He's got 2nd, and Morris has also got the speed to do the deed here tonight. As you see him hike up that left front tire just a little bit. The 07X car, and he's a hot pursuit of Carter in the 48. 26 car, Brett James, James Gang Pizza sponsored ride. Speaking of which, we're getting James Gang Pizza again tonight because it was so good. If you're ever up here, make sure you grab a little bit of that action. But anyhow, Brett James runs 3rd on the field. Troy Heupel will challenge Kinzer Cox for 4th. Well, I thought he was going to. He looked down to the inside and unfortunately couldn't muster the forces to make the charge. So he'll settle back into the number 5 spot right now with 4T car. 45S car was with us earlier in the week, and then he disappeared for a while, so he had to go back to work. But now Aaron Sheeler is back on the gas, but to the inside comes Nick Trenchard. Trenchard 54N car has been tagging along this whole week, and what a stellar week he has had. Currently sits fifth in series points for the 54N car. Car just as sharp looking now as it was whenever he first started. He'll put Aaron Sheeler a spot back as Trenchard able to work his way into the number 6 spot on the racetrack. Up front, here's your challenge for the race lead. Troy Morris Jr. kind of biding his time. He'll give a little slider action right there in the 07X car and tries to power into the number 1 spot, but right back comes the number 48 of Cale Carter. Carter on the attack is Morris way up high on the racetrack. Drag race to the strike, give the nod to the 48 car. Troy Morris Jr. thought he'd just deal with him and put him behind, and that is not the case. As the 48 of Cale Carter shall not be denied from that number 1 spot. Right now is on the attack big time as he's got the sleeves rolled up and is giving it to what for out of turn number 4 and onto the front chute. Lap number 8 complete, that time by a white flag. Next time for Troy Morris Jr. up front, who finally shrugs off the 48 car. Brett James still tolling along third on the field behind Kinzer Cox fourth. Rounding out your top 5 is Troy Heupel. Nick Trenchard trying to pick up one more spot on his final lap around as here comes the 54N car. Runner up high on the racetrack, grabs some gravity, grabs some banking, grabs some speed down the back straightaway as Heupel peeks to the inside of Kinzer Cox. Checkered flag up front for Troy Morris Jr. He's got the race lead. Look at Trenchard around the outside. Boom! 2-4 coming out of turn number 4. Picked off 2 of them right there. Trenchard will slide into the number 4 spot, the 54N car. A bold move coming out turn number 4 from the number 7 spot. Beautiful move by the 54N. That'll take the head, though. That is a tough heat race we're looking at right now. Boy, you talk about loaded. My goodness. Green flag comes out. Not a good pill draw to throw yourself into this mix, that's for sure. Here comes a 3-wide battle for the number, that's called 5 spot on the racetrack here momentarily. As Alex Stanford was going to try to force it through the eye of the needle. No room to be found. Tricky Troy up front's got the number 1 spot. Troy Folger, that Elton power plant. A stomp and romp kind of driver. Likes to hang on to the wheel and punch that throttle. Back her into the corners, and right now he is faced off against a driver of the same style, Mark Woggy, another one that really likes to back it in there. They battle for that number 1 spot. Woggy down the inside, Folger up on the top side. Ireland now sees the 7R car, Ryan Gaylord to the inside. Caution flag comes out. BJ Wild into the wall down at turn number 1. Brings out the caution flags. Looks like he's got some damage to the number 12 car. Front. Going to bring the field back to life. 2 laps scored into books, 8 laps to go in heat race number 3 as we look at it right now. Ireland on the attack to the outside. The number 8 car, Woggy. I told you he likes to back it in there. Had his car jacked sideways just past the start-finish line. Was already throttling it up as he'll peek to the inside of Folger. Folger runs it deep down into the corner. Brings her around, catches the cushion, and Folger still got the race lead by a pinch, called half a car length. Nosed out ahead of the 1M car as he digs in. Here comes Woggy back up to the point. Mark, the 1M car, back to the number 1 spot. Flying Ryan Gaylord after starting back in the number 6 position. Now rolls third. Behind him comes Alex Stanford to the inside of Rob Ireland. 04 cars around at turn number 4. Watch for the caution flag to come out. That'll woe him down. 4 laps scored in the books. I believe we'll score that. Here comes Folger. Sees the green flag. It's like a cape in front of the bulls. He cuts her loose, lets it alligate there in the old number 49 car. Back behind. Gaylord's going to get down the inside as Folger. Again, upset the race car down the corner. And here comes Alex Stanford, Rob Ireland, and Folger went from first to, comes up and punches the 7R car. Out of the way as Gaylord's around. Caution flag coming out. And I think Folger believes that maybe the 7R car got into the back of him. I'm not sure that was necessarily the case, but who am I to make Ireland into number 2 spot to the outside. Alex Stanford, green flag flies. We're underway. Watch Stanford just kind of ease it in the corner. Back on the gas there. Couldn't get the car to rotate around for the number 98 car. Finally able to get that baby moving down the back straightaway. Stanford powers around the outside. He's got the number 2 spot. Flying Ryan Gaylord's picked off 1 car. That's the 49 of Troy Folger. Caught the red coming out of the corner. Folger's got 3 of them picked off. Now goes to work on Jerry Schramm in the 16S car. As Folger goes way high on the racetrack, bangs her off the cushion, and down the front chute he comes with Gaylord to the inside. Little tussle taking place right there. Flying Ryan, who had started 6th, Folger started 2nd, so Ryan able to deal with the 49 car as Folger went rogue down in turn number 2. It's up front. Alex Stanford will take a shot at the number 1 spot. See if he can take it away from Mark Woggy. Woggy, the 1M car, puts lap number 6 behind him, and Alex Stanford out of turn number 2 to the inside. He's got her gassed up. We'll take a little peek. The old PCD race car. Super tuned here tonight. Not a lot of changes made to that unit for day number 2. Very happy with the performance of it last night. Right now, he is solid in number 2 spot. 3rd belongs to John DeBenedetti. 21J car, kind of forgot about him. He's 3rd on the field. He started in the number 9 position. So picking up 6 spots to move into 3rd right now for DeBenedetti in the 21J car. Kind of blends into the background there. Ireland currently runs 4th. And behind him, Gaylord in a 7R car. Although Gaylord's going to take a look down the inside, try to snag the number 4 spot away from Ireland, shuffling back to 5th. White flag is out up front for the white car as Woggy is across for his final trip around. Stanford not able to make the pass on him. DeBenedetti way back in the number 3 position right now. Flying Ryan's got 4th away from Ireland. So a good run for the 7R car. The checkered flag comes out, and that's exactly how we'll finish out. Song remains the same. Ireland rounding out your top 5, and that'll move us back. So here we go. Green flag comes out. 3 wide, tail of the field as Williamson goes down low in the W5 car. On the hunt. Picks off the triple deuce. First shot out of the bag. Up front, it's going to be Craig Castle, the number 25 car, trying to lead the charge out of turn number 4, but Martin's down on the inside to 99. Looking pretty good himself. Nope, didn't quite get there in time, but he was close. Close enough to seal the deal. Coming out turn number 2 and down the back straightaway is Martin trying to power into the race lead. Almost dead even with Castle on the outside. Danny Lauer, the 41 car, caught the crease down the inside of the racetrack. Upset it just enough to allow the 44P car to draw alongside on the outside, I should say. Sam Potter, the 44P, able to get around Lauer, and here comes Colin Weinberger in the Superman car, defending champ right here at Willamette Speedway. Looked stout last night. That misstep cost him dearly. Tonight, he is back for retribution, as he has worked the old Superman car from 6th into 3rd right now, and those top 2 are in danger because here comes Weinberger. Gasses that baby up, and boy, is he keeping it up on the bars. Watch the Superman car. That thing never settles down. Right there, still up on the bars. That is so reminiscent of a great racer out of the Midwest. Johnny the Jet Sathoff has that same attitude to his race car when he's on the hunt, and that's exactly what we're seeing out of Weinberger right now, and that is not a bad dude to be compared to in the modified world. Weinberger running down the 99 of Brad Martin. Back behind, Joey Price is running 4th on the field. Danny Lauer's 5th, and behind him, Sam Potter in the 44P car sits just outside those top 5. Jesse Williamson still trying to get himself for the tail of the field. Can't quite make it happen. He's cleared 2 race cars, but that's as far as he's gone at this point in time. I thought for sure he'd be on his way towards the front, as here comes Weinberger coming up with a plan right now. 6 laps complete, 7 this time by, and Colin Weinberger's looking for room to roam for the Superman car. Eyes it up. He's going to slice through the center right there. Watch this, making it happen out turn number 2. 3 wide for the race lead. Give the nod to Weinberger. Oh, my. He is on a mission here tonight, this final night of the Wild West Modified Shootout. He's got the point in the Superman car. Swears Trucking Frisbee Motorsports. Colin Weinberger is a man to contend with here on this Saturday night. He's got the point as Craig Castle settles into the number 2 spot. Martin just behind. White flag comes out up front for Superman. It's Weinberger. Fires that baby across the line. 4th position right now, Joey Price in the number 37 car. Danny Lauer rounds out your top 5. Jesse Williamson only making it to the number 7 spot right now. As your checkered flag comes out up front, Weinberger picks up the win. The crowd goes wild. Castle finishes out 2nd. Martin, Price, Lauer, and Williamson finishes behind Bailey 7th on the field. And that'll do it for our first. Now he is bumping on the back bumper. Monty Bischoff trying to get that going. As here comes the green flag, and we're underway. Inverted heat race number 1. Look out. Man, oh man, Craig Hansen driving that thing like he's in a video game down there. Just ricochets off the wall 2 or 3 times. And the 33C car stays on the gas as he is around. Down to turn number 3 and 4. Look out, Bassett. Slides to a halt. Caution flag comes out. Craig Hansen not overall after those 8 are pulled out for the redraw. Giving us 12 cars to advance into the feature from the heat races. Here comes the green flag. We're underway. Uno más tiempo. One more time. Down in turn number 1 and 2. Peary slides it in high on a racetrack. His lookout. Bassett now going a little bit rogue down in the corner. Somehow kept that race car underneath of him. Little super sport experience behind the wheel. The number 44 car is looking pretty stout from the tail of the field. He'll peek to the outside of Monty Bischoff. Up front, it is Peary and Shank. Side by side, wheel to wheels. We got contact and chaos. Around on the front chute. Caution flag coming out. Kevin Smith is live right here on Speed Shift TV. Here comes the green flag out. Single foul restart. 2 attempts at the double foul didn't work, so we go single foul the next time. That puts Shank up front on the point. Peary into the number 2 position. Behind him, Zach Olson, the 4Z car. Tooling along third right now is Joe German. Catches that little crease. That little crease was there last night, too. You saw it upset a couple race cars. Later on, they'll be able to use it. Right now, she's got a little sharp edge. They just need to wear it down just a smidge. As German caught it through some mud clogs. Across the racetrack. Scott Lenz into number 5 position right now. This is as close to single foul racing as we have seen here at Willamette Speedway the entire time. And the guy that's able to capitalize on that's Monty Bischoff. The F1 car is stout down on the inside. It's going to pick off Lenz coming out turn number 2 and down the back straightaway. It's Monty finding some speed where there was none to be found for the 83L car. Lenz is going to cross over it, try to make something happen, but it will not come to fruition for him. Up front, Shank is your race leader. Peary and Olson still 1, 2, 3 on the field. Monty Bischoff, the F1 car, had started. Where did he start? 10th. He currently sits 5th. He has sliced the field in half at this point in time. We'll see if we can run down Joe German in 75X before it's all over with. 4 laps have been scored into about 6 laps to go. It is inverted heat race number 1. Zach Olson slid her in, had to grab a whole lot of minor and get out of the throttle in the old 4Z car trying to hang on to it. Joe German wasn't close enough to capitalize. Some cross flags come out up front for your race leader. Striking distance at this point in time is about half a car length. And unfortunately, we're not seeing it right now. Fence post formation. Around the racetrack, looks like a hot lap session out here. He's up front, Jeremy Shank trying to hang on to it. Shank had started first. He currently is first. Travis Peary had started 4th. He is currently 2nd. Zach Olson had started 5th. He currently sits 3rd. Joe German in the 75X car had started 7th. He currently sits 4th. And behind him comes Monty Bischoff from 10th to 5th. Earning those valuable passing points as lap number 8 will be complete for Shank up front in the 30 car this time by. It's going to be a little bit of a race for not last between Kevin Smith and the number 11 car before she's all said and done. Brandon Potter trying to reel in the veteran. Take a peek down the inside. The set, the 44 spinning the tires down the inside as well. White flag is out for Shank up front as Travis Peary watches him from afar. Reminds me of a joke. Yeah, I'll tell you some other time. Checkered flag comes out up front for Shank. He picks up the win. Peary finishes out 2nd. 3rd goes to Zach Olson. 4th will be Joe German rounding out your top 5. Monty Bischoff, whose car is settled down on the haunches. That thing was not up on the bars. I would say he has got something awry. The back of the F1 car just got lucky hanging on to the 5th position right there. Heat race number 2 and the Ron Reestead Memorial. So had a stellar 2014 season. Has looked very stout here throughout the course of the Wild West Modified Shootout. Currently sits 5th in points. And right now he sits 3rd on the racetrack. On the initial starters, he's got himself to the outside of Kinzer Cox. Cox will have nothing for him, as Trencher will go to work on a 57 car just ahead. Landers had the number 2 spot. He'll give it up to Trencher as Trencher slides up high on the racetrack. He's going to get some company to the outside. Here comes the number 7 car, Katie. Said it many times, but current points leader right here at Willamette Speedway will cross down to the inside of Landers, to the outside of James, and slice through there. Look out. Not a lot of room to be found, and Kinzer Cox is going to try to make it happen. Very, very tight quarters coming out turn number 4. Kinzer can't quite get up to the inside of the number 57 car. Here comes Troy Morris Jr., 07X car. Pedaling for all he's worth down the inside as Sheeler goes to the outside. Look at Troy Morris Jr. go. Holy smokes, he'll pick up 2 spots, almost 3 spots on the entrance of turn number 3. But right back to the inside comes the 1K car, Kinzer Cox. Cox will snag that spot back away from him as he'll slice and dice it down in turn number 1 and 2. Work in the middle of the racetrack for Wayne Morris Jr. The 07X car currently sits 6th on the field. Is up front. Troy Heupel is your race leader. Out of turn number 4, Trenchard in hot pursuit, 2nd on the field. Katie runs 3rd. James 4th, and 5th is still very much up for grabs. Landers has got it. Morris is trying to take it away from him. Right here's where Troy Morris comes on strong down the back chute. Although that time, Landers looked pretty good on the outside. Found a little traction up there in the moisture top side of the racetrack as Morris unsettles himself, and Landers back around the outside. Score him in the number 4 spot. Or 5th spot, rather. That time, Landers will give up 2 of them. Sheeler able to get down the inside. Just got a little road down turn number 1 and 2. Was doing very well for the number 57 car for a long time. His first year behind the wheel of a modified. Out here running with the big guns. He's got a bright future ahead, that's for sure. Secure Storage, Chester Cabinet sponsors on the number 57 car. It's been a pleasure talking to him and seeing him in pits this entire week. He's up front, Troy Heupel, the 4T car, is uncontested and unmolested. Got that baby cornering like a mouse in sneakers out there right now. Trenchard can't even get a hold of him. He can see him, but that's about as far as that goes. He's across for lap number 8 this time by. You'll see the white flag for the old GRT chassis. Cartoons Red River Supply sponsored 4T car. Trenchard tools along 2nd on the field. Katie back 3rd. Brett James, the 26 car 4th, and rounding out your top 5 is Troy Morris Jr., 07X. Morris had started back in the number 7 spot. Heupel, the 4T car, had started outside row number 1. Trenchard, the 54N car, had started 4th on the field. This checkered flag will fly. This time coming out turn number 4 for Troy Heupel up front in the 4T, and that one is complete. Trenchard, Katie, James, and Morris, your top 5 out of heat race number 2 inverted. Now takes into our 3rd of 4 heat races. It's on the inside of row. Green flag set to fly. 10 laps the distance. Looking for the top 2 in passing points. Now this event is DeBenedetti comes down, pitches off BJ Wild. Wild backs her in, and we're going to go almost slid back into a 4-wide battle there momentarily as BJ gets that baby gas back up. As John DeBenedetti was on the attack from the initial flash of the green. He's got the number 1 spot, BJ 2nd. Here comes Alex Sanford the 3rd, followed by Jerry Schramm in the 16S car. Schramm working it to the outside. Beautiful attitude to the 16S car. They have got that baby hooked up. Not a lot of rear steer dialed into it. Almost looks like an asphalt car coming out of the corner down there. A little bit of a push at the apex, but he's got that baby quickly underneath of him. He'll power into the number 3 spot. Stanford's off the pace. Down to the inside of the racetrack for the number 98 car. He's got trouble. He's got trouble. Said the other night he accidentally hit the off switch on it. The 98 car is stopped on the back straightaway, and I hope that didn't happen again. How embarrassing that would be. Once is a mistake, twice is. Benedetti sees the green flag. He'll bring the field back to life. Jerry Schramm looking for that number 2 spot. BJ Wild says not going to happen. Nay, not on my shift. As here comes flying Ryan Gaylord down the inside of Campos. Campos slides into turn number 3 up high on the racetrack, working the middle of the slick, top of the slick. Able to keep himself out in front of the 7R car. Flying Ryan on the gas, helps that baby up onto the bars out of turn number 2 and down the back straightaway. Spins the tires on it. You can see almost a whiff of smoke coming off of it. He's got new skins on it right now for the 7R car, but it's not enough to get himself past Campos and into the number 4 spot. Up front, Jerry Schramm will now go to the inside of DeBenedetti. drag race down the back straightaway into turn number 3 as Schramm will run it deep into the corner, let her slide up through the slick and up to the top side of the racetrack, grab a little traction for action, and barely got there in time. Score him in that number 1 spot, but he is not done with the 21J car just yet as DeBenedetti's back on the throttle. Now slides up high into the number 2 spot. Flying Ryan now third on the field, the 7R car behind him, BJ Wild. Well, technically in the 4 spot, although he's in a 3-wide battle under the front straightaway. Here comes Rob Ireland. Ireland working hard on the bottom of the racetrack right there. You can see him riding the brakes down into turn number 1 and 2, trying to keep that car underneath of him. Continues that 3-wide battle down the back straightaway into turn number 3 and 4. Ireland jacks it and cracks it onto the front chute. Gasses it up as Campos gets around the outside and snags the number 4 spot away from him. Ireland continues to work tight to the inside of the racetrack, catfishing around the bottom, trying to pick off the 36 cars. John Campos will now set his sights on Flying Ryan Gaylord is up front. Jerry Schramm is across for lap number 7. The battle for the number 4 spot. That's what we're looking at. Rob Ireland, the number 8 car, had started in the number 8 spot. Now currently sits 5th on the field, just behind John Campos of the 36, who had started a row ahead in the number 6 position. So Ireland's got one more spot on him as BJ Wild has slid all the way to the tail of the field, the number 12 car. It started from the pole, and right now finds himself in a bit of a battle with Mark Woggy in the 1M car. White flag comes out up front for Jerry Schramm, 16S car, looking to pick up the win here in this heat race, followed by John DeBenedetti. Those 2 cars starting, well, essentially up front. DeBenedetti had started on row number 1. Schramm started on the outside of row number 2. And just so smooth for Schramm in the 16S car. That car looks so good coming out the corner. Definitely set up for the slick. Picks up the checkered flag. Gaylord almost got to the number 2 spot at DeBenedetti. The 7R car, he's going to be a force to contend with here tonight. Was last night. Shouldn't be surprised at that. Now takes in the heat race number 4 inverted. Cut of blues this time coming out turn number 4. Chris Quinn sets the pace on him like a herd of turtles. It's Jesse Williamson. Did a little tweaking on the unit back in the pits, calling a hunch. For the old Tigers, he puts the claws to the track and powers out by about 3 car lengths out of turn number 2. Joey looking good. The number 37 car down the inside as Price feathers the throttle. Brings her onto the front chute in the number 3 spot. Danny Lauer swings out wide. Colin Weinberger waiting for something to open up. Give him a little bit of room. He had to thread the eye of the needle the last time we saw him. Right there, you saw the nose hesitate. Was going to go to the middle and then thought about going to the bottom, and he's back on the gas. He'll go top shelf in the Superman car. Now to turn number 4. He's got an opening in front of him. Watch Weinberger. Caution flag comes out. Triple deuce in the 99 around down at turn number 4. Going to stack the field back up. Pulled 4 car lengths on him last time. This time, how many is he going to pull on him down the front straightaway? Well, he's got 2, let's call 3, maybe 4 or 5 down at turn number 1. He'll work a car width up off the bottom. Back behind, here comes Superman around the outside, looking for the number 3 spot, trying to snake it away from the number 23, Chris Quinn. Quinn shuffle back to 4th on the field. Joey Price is sitting ducked down the inside for Colin Weinberger, and Weinberger's headed towards the front. Score him in the number 2 spot. That time across the stripe, lap number 2, and Weinberger's already sliced his way from 5th to 2nd on the field. Back behind, Quinn back on the attack. Joey Price still in that number 3 position, occupying the bottom of the racetrack, and Quinn will break out wide. Danny Lauer letting it push up high on the racetrack, trying to carry the momentum onto the front straightaway, but he's got company out of Beetle Bailey's. Here comes Bailey in the 68 car. Weinberger charged into 2nd. He's pulling on the number 37 of Joey Price, but having a rough time getting the W5 car wheeled in. It's Jesse Williamson said they were going to make a few little changes for today. Overall, the car wasn't bad last year's. Look out, Danny Lauer just blazed it into the wall and ripped part of his wing off. Needs a breakaway on the number 41 car because right now it is non-functional. At the back, his blade has been broken. The cross flags come out halfway through. Lap number 5 complete for Jesse Williamson up front. Lauer still locked in that battle. Bailey looming large in rearview mirror as the caution flag comes out. Some debris on the front straightaway would be my guess, and I would say it fell off of Danny Lauer's number 41 car. We're going to find out and see fire. The boys at Fiera Racing are rooting for Rob Ireland tonight. Hey, how's it going? I knew the Wyoming boys. Here comes the green flag. Got us tuned in on the Speed Shift TV. Colin Weinberger down on the inside of Joey Price. Can't quite get him picked off right there. He'll give up the number 2 spot. Here comes Quinn. Oh, my goodness. Tosses it way into turn number 3 as Quinn is up on the wheel. The number 23 car tight to the wall down the front straightaway. Up to the back bumper of Weinberger. Into Superman car is Chris Quinn. The Vancouver, Washington racer right now is throwing everything at Weinberger, but the kitchen sink as he gets a little contact out of Lowry's around in front of Martin. Look out, contact, caution flag comes out. To go, green flag comes out for Williamson up front. This time Weinberger's got to run around the outside of Price. Scoots him back to the number 3 spot. Brad Martin in 99 cars right there, as is Craig Castle to 25 and to 23, Chris Quinn. As Quinn, the 23 car, tosses her down on the inside. You can see him on the binders early on trying to get a set on that race car. See drag brakes it around the bottom side of the racetrack. Martin quick around the top shelf, however, is going to pick off the number 4 spotter. He's not quite a done deal just yet. Craig Castle may have something to say about it before it's over with. He's up front. Jesse Williamson brings him out of turn number 4 for lap number 8. That time across the stripe. Colin Weinberger can see him, can't quite get a hold of him. The old Superman car, top 2 have broken away from Joey Price, who's hanging tough. 3rd on the field right now. Chris Quinn still running 4th. Martin shuffled back to 5th. Behind him, Craig Castle 6th. 7th is Jesse Bailey in the 68 car. 8th is the 44 Pia Potter. Danny Lauer runs 9th. So white flag is flown. Final time around on this final heat race for the modifieds. Jesse Williamson is looking to get himself into the big dance. That's all he has to do is make it in. And he has got himself his 3rd Wild West Modified Shootout Championship. Colin Weinberger will go up and test Chilton the following night for 2 more 5,000 win events for the Modifieds. But that's next week, and right now it's this week. And here comes B-Main number 1 for the Wild West Modified Shootout. Heupel, working the middle of the racetrack, finds himself surrounded by awesomeness. As down to the inside goes Jeremy Shank, the number 30 car. To the outside, Jerry Schramm in a 16S, powered into the number 1 spot. But the 14 car, awesome in his own way. So he will work the middle of the slick right now, trying to hang on to a transfer spot as Sheeler's around tail the field. Caution flag coming out. No laps scored in the book, so we'll stack them up. Complete double. The North Dakota racer's going to kick his pig. Coming down turn number 4. Green flag goes up. Watching Schramm to the outside. It's got a good run in the 16S car. Again, goes to the point. Here comes Rob Ireland. Here comes caution flag. One around. Down in turn number 4. Brings out the caution, stacks up the field, and is that... I don't think the heat races with their passing points overall, not within their heat themselves, but overall. So here we go. Green flag once again comes out. Schramm again around the outside. Deja vu all over again. Schramm's leading the way around the top side of the racetrack. Rob Ireland, the 8 car. Gassing her up, trying to look to the outside of Heupel. Down the inside comes Shank in the 30 car. Heupel's able to hold off the attack of both of those challengers and hang on to the number 2 spot. Score the 8 car of Ireland. 3rd on the field right now as Jeremy Shank's down low on the racetrack, and Dustin Cady will come to call as the caution flag comes out. Caution flag is out. Must be some debris on the racetrack down turn number 1 and 2, bringing out the caution flag. Not seeing a car around out there. All righty, back to the racing action. Jerry Schramm up front. Top skipping a jump down turn number 1 and 2. Katie's going to be the man on the moves. He slides up high, grabs the cushion, and fires her down the back straightaway to the outside of Quinn. First time we've seen the 23 car here with us, the Wild West Modified Shootout. And he's got a pretty good run down on the inside. The old purple 23 car, purple and yellow. Los Angeles Lakers fan. Well, maybe not so much, but he's got the colors on the race car. It's easy to pick out of the crowd as he works in that number 6 position out there right now. BJ Wild back at 7th on the field. Is up front. It is the Jerry Schramm show. We're looking for the top 3, and that would be Schramm, Ireland, and Shank right now. 1, 2, 3 on the field. Troy Heupel, who had started on the pole, unfortunately not able to maintain the pace. We see up front is now Ireland will challenge down to the inside. Here comes the Ireland and Ireland, Klecker and Ives, number 8 car, the Privateer Racing Rod, is feeling his oats. Down on the inside of the racetrack, peeking around there on Jerry Schramm as lap number 4 falls by the wayside. He's got a pretty good run out turn number 2 and down the back straightaway, and Ireland's looking for that number 1 spot. I believe former military, member of the U.S. military, behind the wheel of the number 8 car. He was in the Air Force, hence the scheme you see on the side of it. Right now, he's got to be flying to hold off Jeremy Shank as Shank peeks down the inside, shows the numbers to the number 8 car, and Ireland goes back on the attack. Up front and up top is Jerry Schramm, 16S, showing him the way around for lap number 6 that time by. Top 3 cars making the transfer, and right now the top 3 have broken away from Troy Heupel in a 4T car. Back behind, you find Katie, Quinn, and Wild, and a tremendous battle taking place for 5th on the field. 5th, however, is not quite good enough. You got to be top 3. And away they go for lap number 7. Quinn continues to work down low. She's definitely cleaning off the racetrack out there. A great 3-wide battle deep in the field. Up front, Jerry Schramm maintains about a half a car length lead over Rob Ireland as Ireland's on the binders hard coming out turn number 4. Man, is he riding the pedals on that bad boy. We're going to have to do some work on him. The brakes of the number 8 car as he is definitely grinding them off. Getting on him hard. Watch him right here. He'll drop down low to the apron and almost come to a complete stop before he gets back on the gas again, but somehow is able to maintain the pace of Jerry Schramm in the 16S car. Shank quick enough to blow the A-pillar off the number 30 car there on the right-hand side. You see it flapping around in the wind. Is the late model racer. Keeps the old modified gassed up in the number 3 spot. Transfer spot, faux show for the number 30 car right now as Heupel trails by about a full straightaway at this point in time. 10 laps scored in the books, handful of laps remain. Jeremy Shank looking to pick up one more spot in the feature event. If he can start one row further forward, that's what he's trying to do. Give himself the best spot possible to perhaps win this final night of the Wild West Modified Shootout. What a week it has been as Ireland continues to work low. Schramm has dropped off the cushion, kind of working about a car width and a half from the top. Right into slick now for the 16S car. He's got that beautiful attitude to it. Man, that car is solid. Coming out of turn number 4. Rocket sled on rails for Schramm right now in the 16S. The old Hughes chassis. Looking pretty stellar with 12 laps. It'll be 13 laps scored into books this time. And now Shank will come to call. Peek down the inside. We're going to go 3 wide for the race lead. Here we go. Looking for 2 more rows forward for Jeremy Shank in the number 30 cars. He'll look to the inside of Ireland down the back straightaway. Crosses over to the back of it. Now crosses to the outside of the number 8 car. Shank goes way high on the racetrack. White flag comes out final time around. Up front, Jerry Schramm hanging on to that number 1 spot. Ireland down the inside. Jeremy Shank working the middle of the racetrack. Top side, still in the number 3 spot. Checkered flag will fly for the 16S car. This will set our inside row number 7, 8, and 9. And we're going to finish out in the exact order that we anticipated, but right there together. Jerry Schramm will start in the number 13 spot. Rob Ireland, the number 8 car, will start 15th on the field. And your 17th starter is going to be the number 30, Jeremy Shank. Great run up front. Your final transfers out of that B-main event. Everybody else goes to the last chance qualifier, and that'll take us into B-main. Set the roll. Green flag already flying for B-main number 2. Looking for the top 3 to advance. Jesse Williamson and Zach Olson almost came together on a restart. Jesse Williamson quickly to the point in the W5 car, going to try to drive away as Alex Stanford trying to hold off Scott Lentz. Stanford picked up the feature event win last night. Has won the last 4 feature events in a row right here at Willamette Speedway with the Wild West Modified Shootout. Right now, slices through the middle. That's tight. That's real tight right there for Stanford. Somehow squeezed the weasel on up through there. He's got the number 3 spot now for the 98 car. Able to get around Lentz in the 83L cars. Now Campos will drive up to the number 5 spot. Got around Brad Martin, former feature event winner earlier on in the week in the number 99, trying to make it into the big dance, and he'll be coming out of the last chance qualifier. Jesse Williamson up front, as expected. He's got that baby on cruise control right now in the W5. Powers away from the 4Z of Zach Olson. Third, still kind of sort of up for grabs. Alex Stanford's got himself there, but Scott Lentz is hanging tough in the number 4 spot. Campos works up high on the racetrack, the 36 car, fifth on the field with Martin down on the inside. Currently scored sixth up on the scoreboard, but challenging for fifth. He's back behind. Kinzer Cox settled into the number 7 spot. Now Martin's got a good run coming out turn number 4. Is not quite there in time. Still scored sixth on the field for the 99 car. Stanford now able to separate and put a little cushion of comfort between himself and Scott Lenz in the number 83 L car, former California modified champ in UMP category. As Lenz lets it sweep out wide, tight to the wall down the front straightaway. Everybody working the slick. It's kind of crazy. There's a cushion topside of the racetrack, but nobody's laying it in there and romping around the rim. You see Jesse Williamson coming out of turn number 4 and down the front straightaway. Has pulled about a half a chute. On the 4Z car, Zach Olson. Olson just about a car width lower on the racetrack than you see Williamson running. Remember last night in the feature event, Jesse Williamson was good in the slick, but not as good as Stanford and Gaylord were up front. He was tossing it in way low on the entrance, letting it sweep out wide, trying to run him down. To no avail, I might add. He ended up finishing out third last night in the W5 car. Right now, though, he's showing him the way. This brings around for lap number 8 of 15. So the halfway flags come out. Cross flags are out for Jesse Williamson up front. Williamson, Olson, and Stanford looking to make a transfer out of B-main number 2. As we watch him on around, Scott Lenz still hanging tough in 4th. 5th still belongs to John Campos in the 36 car. At 6 is Brad Martin. As he squeaks down to the inside, the 99, challenging. Try to get a little better shot at him in the last chance qualifier. If he can pick up another row and get a little closer towards the front. His starting position is oh so key in that LCQ. Only 15 laps the distance, looking for those final 2 cars to make it into the big dance. Handful of laps remain. 10 laps scored into books. As we take a look at 7th position, still Kinzer Cox. 8th belongs to the 68 of Jesse Bailey. 9th is Bassett, hanging tough in the 44. And rounding out your top 10s, Potter in the 44 P car. It's 11 laps now show on the scoreboard. Jesse Williamson. A few more trips around the old 3rd mile out here at Willamette Speedway. Gorgeous sunset taking place behind us. A wonderful facility located in Lebanon, Oregon. Home to James Gang Pizza, just for the record. For those of you keeping score at home. Alex Stanford, interestingly enough, had fuel issues, I understand, earlier on in the 98 car, and he is falling back from your top 2. Scott Lenz is close. 13 laps scored into books. I don't think 2 laps is enough to get the job done, but Stanford needs to work on the unit. Do a little tweaking on the 98 car before he brings her out here for the feature event, because he is definitely a little bit behind the 8 ball right now. White flag comes out up front for Jesse Williamson in the W5. As he is on his final trip around in this B-main number 2. As Williamson looking to start 14th on the field with the W5. Good enough. Transferring in right now. He's got to come out and take the green flag, but he'll pick up the championship. That one's a done deal already. In 2015, his 3rd Wild West Modified Shootout Championship for Jesse Williamson. Zach Olson, the 4Z car, will start 16th on the field. And your 18th starter is going to be the 98 of Alex Stanford. Going to be fun to watch those guys coming from the tail. 2 more cars yet to set for our 20-car starting field. They'll come out in the last chance qualifier here in just a smidge. And right now, I believe we're going support class racing. We'll turn it back over to the track. And pull down on the inside, run number 1, Lenz to the outside. Going to bring his field to life. We'll cut him loose. Looking for the top 2. That's your best starting spot if you're going to get yourself into the big dance. Our final 2 starters on the field. Who's it going to be on this final night of the Wild West Modified Shootouts? Those top 2 get away from BJ Wild. In the number 12 car, Brad Martin. In the 99, side-by-side, wheel-to-wheel, just behind his lookout. The 7 car, Katie's fading back through the field. Kinzer Cox ramped it off the back straightaway wall. Had that right front tire climbing it there. Thought he was going to wheelie out into the fence like we've seen on the social medias from tonight. Seems to be the thing to do. As they did it, Prentice Motorsports Group had that happen out in California, too. Here comes Campos in the number 36 car. He's got a good run down on the inside. The number 36 draws alongside B.J. Wild as Buck Wild able to shake him off out of turn number 4. Wasn't sure if that was going to happen or not. There's Campos. Looked like he was pretty stout down on the inside. Was able to hang with the 12 car there on that exit from the turn number 4 as we watch up front. Troy Heupel bringing her across for lap number 3. 15 laps the total distance in this last chance qualifier. And Heupel may have something for the feature event. Bit of an advantage to come out here right now. They get the last look at us. We got a little bit of contact and chaos. One off the pace down turn number 2. Kinzer Cox was talking about him. I'd be willing to bet there was damage to the right front of the board. 13 laps remain as green flag. Once again, waves in the air. Look out, they come together. B.J. Wild working to the outside of Scott Lenz. Lenz able to power away into the number 2 spot. 3 wide for the 3rd position on the field. Back behind. Everybody rowing hard, trying to make something happen. A little 3 wide battle taking place a little deeper in the field. The number 48 car works the slick. Cale Carter, the Havasu City runner, formerly out of the Pacific Northwest. Looked like he was going to charge to the front, but now has dropped back into line as we are still 2 wide racing all the way through the field. Everybody slicing around. Looks like we're going to have the same racetrack we had last night, which is phenomenal. As you could put the car pretty much anywhere, run whatever line you wanted, and it would work for the most part. It's B.J. Wild, the number 12 car, trying to get himself in his final feature event of the Wild West Modified Shootout Speedweek. As here comes the number 7, a Katie to call. Big run out of turn number 2 and down on the inside comes the number 7, points leader right here at Willamette Speedway, and he wants in the big dance. He'll get around the inside of Campos in the 36 car, following Quinn in the number 23 towards the front. Quinn slides into the number 3 spot. Campos back on the attack. The inside of Lenz, looking for a little daylight right there in the middle of the racetrack. He's going to wedge it in. Here comes the 36 cars. We go 3 wide out of turn number 4 down the front straightaway. Campos is right there with Quinn and Katie. It's Katie down low on the racetrack, the number 7 car. Quinn just a little bit higher. Campos trying to wedge the nose in and make a space for himself. He's digging a hole. If he can poke it on through, is up front. Heupel's your race leader. B.J. Wild second on the field. And then that 3-car battle for the number 3 spot. Somebody's got to come out on top and then go to work on running down the number 12 of B.J. Wild as Buck Wild is starting to open up a little bit of a gap between himself and 3rd position. He's up front, lap number 8 complete that time by. Cross flags are out. We're halfway through. Quinn slides the number 23 car into the number 3 spot. The Vancouver, Washington racer, Roush Racing sponsored ride has got 3rd for now. Is Katie, that 7 car, quick on the throttle out of turn number 2, is able to draw alongside. Just can't quite get to turn number 3 and 4 as quickly. If he could find a little more speed down there, he'd be able to pick off the 23 car. Right here's where he's got the line. I don't know if there's a little bit of moisture, a little bit of rubber down there, but whatever it is, he's got some traction for action. It's 3 and 4. It's not happening for him. It's B.J. Wild running at number 2 spot. So far, safe for now. Handful of laps remain. 10 scored into books. Troy Heupel up front said, see ya, goodbye in the 4T car. As he is on his march towards victory. Now in the corner, crosses over for lap number 11 in the 4T car. Looking stout for the Williston, North Dakota runner. Cartoons, Red River Supply. Sponsors on the GRT chassis hold down the number 1 spot as Quinn continues to battle Campos with Katie watching on. Watching the 7 car cross down, trying to drop off the banking. Dustin Katie changing up the line. See if he can find just a touch more quickness out of turn number 3 and 4. Fortunately, he's running out of time. Lap number 13 that time across for the 4T of Heupel. Just 2 laps to go. He'll see the white flag the next time by for the 4T car. B.J. Wild appears to be safe. Just has to hit the marks and put it around the racetrack. There's a 23 car and the 36 at Campos not going to be able to run him down for that 2nd and final transfer spot. The white flag has flown. The final time for Heupel and Wild. The 4T car will start in the number 19 spot. And Buck Wild, the number 12, will be your 20th starter on the field. Checkered flag, and that one is a done deal. Everybody else gets to spectate on this final night as we finish off the Wild West Modified Shootout Speedweek. joining us, we'd like to say thank you. As here we go, the 4-wide salute for the Wild West Modified Shootout Speedweek. Here's a little intro track for you to go with this 4-wide. Blow them down, stack them up, and get ready to rock and roll. 35 laps the distance. As we've seen tonight, the only exception at Sunset Speedway, that tiny little bull ring we ran not too awful long ago. That was a 40-lap feature event, but 35, only 20 cars starting field. No provisionals this entire week. You got to race your way into the big dance. And what a tremendous racing we have seen as a result. A lot of good racers. Joe German starting up front right now. John DeBenedetti ran the 0D car all week. Came up here to Willamette and has the 21 J car. Locked and loaded on that front row. Mark Waggy, the 1M car on the inside of row number 2. Colin Weinberger last night had the race lead. Unfortunately, dialed in a little bit too much rear brake and dialed himself right out of contention. Then charged from 20th to 5th. Is tonight his night at his home track right here at Willamette Speedway? We're going to find out as the green goes up and we drop the hammer. Benedetti going to be the first one down in turn number 1. Weinberger on the hunt in the number 2 spot. Back behind 3 wide. Deep in the field. Here comes Monty Bischoff in the F1 car. Fired her up there into the inside. Was peeking around. Nick Trenchard in the 54 car. Couldn't quite make it happen. He'll settle back in behind. On the tail feathers is up front. It is DeBenedetti, your race leader for lap number 1. Colin Weinberger drops off the banking to the inside. Comes to charge out the Superman car. DeBenedetti so far able to hold him off as Weinberger's right there. Almost got into the back bumper of DeBenedetti in the 21J, but John will be the leader on lap number 2 as Trenchard, Waggy, and German all fight for that number 3 position on the racetrack. Joe German working up high in the 75X car. The outside of Mark Waggy, the 1M, has been battling with his race car. He said it's been ill handling this entire week, and right now it looks pretty good down on the inside of German in the 75X car. Still 2 wide deep in the field. Troy Morris Jr. working top shelf around the outside of Flying Ryan Gaylord. The other racer that we're looking for and waiting on is the W5 at Jesse Williamson. Alex Stanford at 98, also mired deep in the field as he tries to battle in a 3-wide formation. Is up front. Here's Colin Weinberger again, pestering now to the outside of DeBenedetti in the 21J car. Colin Weinberger concentrating tonight. Last night, a misstep. He takes responsibility for it, and I've said it many times. The common person takes credit. The great person takes responsibility. And Colin Weinberger is one of the following, as right now he is in the number 2 spot, but looking very hard at the number 1 position on John DeBenedetti in the 21J car. Here's the challenge out the inside. Got a good run as he's changed up the line multiple times right now. DeBenedetti's got his hands full trying to hold off the youngster in the Superman cars. Weinberger's coming. He's coming. Showed the number, showed the nose, and now watch this drive out of turn number 2. The inside, DeBenedetti still gets there ahead of him. Score him in at number 1 spot for the 7th lap in a row as Colin Weinberger's unrelenting in his attack for that number 1 spot. Nick Trenchard, the 54N car, watches on from 3rd on the field. Travis Peary, the 6P, runs 4th after starting 9th with the 6P car. Peary able to charge up through. Weinberger sparks up the rear brakes to the inside. DeBenedetti's got the number 1 spot. John comes up, cross to the outside. Thought he was going to give him a little bump and a rump out of turn number 2, but that wasn't the plan. DeBenedetti was trying to carry some momentum around the top shelf, but Weinberger's your race leader this time by. Trenchard solid at number 3 spot. Travis Peary has run down the 54 end car, and Travis Peary is coming. Maybe the fastest car on the racetrack right now, from 9th to 4th, and looking at 3rd as back behind comes flying Ryan Gaylord, the 7R car. Had started 11th. He runs in the number 5 spot. Gaylord followed by Mark Woggy, Joe German, the 75X car, and Jesse Williamson soon coming up to the front. East to the inside of Monty Bischoff down to turn number 1 and 2 and down the back straightaways. Now Peary challenges hard for the number 3 position. Trenchard able to hold him off out of turn number 4, but Peary's right there. 6B car deep down into the corner, rotates through. And that's the old mouse in the sneakers move I was talking about earlier on. He has got that baby on a rail right now for the 6B car. The PCD, they worked on it all day today. He said, I want this car on the racetrack, and he's got her in the number 3 spot right now. Peary headed towards the front. Jesse Williamson currently sits in the number 8 spot with the W5 car. Started 14th on the field. He is up to the back bumper of Joe German. Scratch that. He's up to the front bumper of Joe German in the W5 car. Hot to trot out of turn number 4 and down the front chute. Looking back through the field. And lo and behold, we turned our attention away, and Alex Stanford has put that baby on the cushion, top side of the racetrack, and he's going to put on a show for you, race fans, as Stanford's hammering around the top shelf. Watch for sparks to fly off the back of that bad boy, and he figures the only way the fronts carry the momentum, the speed around the top side. She is a fine line to tread, but Stanford's bringing the lane in all by his lonesome, the only one to touch the cushion out of this 20-car starting field. Your race leader, Weinbarger, starting to put a little distance between himself and the remainder of the field. Is back behind. Stanford continues to tread that line. He's around Schramm. Next one falls victim will be the number 26 car of Brett James. James will fall by the wayside. He's up front. DeBenedetti and Peary now face off for the number 2 spot. Travis Peary rocking it low on the racetrack, snags it away from the 21J car easily. Takes the number 2 spot away from DeBenedetti and will now have clean air all around him in the 6B car. Open her wide and let her eat. See if he can run down Colin Weinbarger in the Superman car. Trenchard and Ryan Gaylord had faced off for the number 5 position on the racetrack, or 4 position rather, and Gaylord's got it away from him, the 7R car. Made some slight changes to the car earlier on today in the pits. He said it's close, it's real close, we need just a pinch more, and he's got it here tonight. Threw a new set of skins on the old 7R car, and he's looking pretty stout right now in the number 4 spot. So far, cross flags are out. We got 18, make that 19 laps in the book as Weinbarger slides across the stripe this time. Travis Peary still back by about, let's call it, a half a straightaway, just a little bit more in the 6P car, running in that number 2 spot. Behind him, John DeBenedetti, still 3rd on the field. Gaylord runs 4th and 5th as Nick Trenchard, the 54 car. 6 belongs to Mark Woggy, the 1M. 7th is Jesse Williamson, the W5. 8th is the number 30 of Jeremy Shank. 9th is Joe German, and rounding out your top 10, Monty Bischoff. But coming in the number 11 spot is the 98 car with some serious velocities. He'll give a little shot in the shorts to Bischoff, and that is Alex Stanford, the 98 car. Stanford got checked up on the front straightaway, but after starting in the number 18 spot, he is coming. He is coming. He'll take him 3 wide down at turn number 4. Gaylord got around DeBenedetti in the number 3 spot in the 7R cars. He'll go down the back straightaway, try to maintain that number 3 spot as John DeBenedetti rolls up to the back bumper, not going to close on it. Ryan Gaylord's definitely driving away. Colin Weinbarger is officially worked up to the back of lap traffic. Joey Price, the number 37, the Sky Dancer, out here rocking and rolling with an open motor. Said last night he came out to warm up the tires, punched the throttle, spun it, and he said, I'm in trouble. Definitely a little bit crate friendly out here right now with the slickness of the racetrack as Joey Price feathers it out of turn number 2 and down the back straightaway. Colin Weinbarger is there. He has got to clear Price quickly and then run down Heupel as Travis Peary's clipping off the distance. He is closing on his Superman car. Ryan Gaylord still 3rd, 24 laps scored in the books, just a few laps to go. 9, 10, 11. My math is horrible. 11 laps to go in his 35-lap feature event as we count it up through. Trenchard looking to the inside at DeBenedetti. Weinbarger has cleared Joey Price. Troy Heupel lies ahead, but Travis Peary now closes within half a straightaway. Trying to work to the outside, the number 37 car. Here comes Peary down on the inside. Drives it through 3 and 4. The PCD working well. Superman lies just ahead for Travis Peary. Can he run him down? And he's closing laps. Now it's just 9 laps left to go. So far, clean and green in this feature event. As Peary, the only one within striking distance on Weinbarger. Weinbarger into heavy lap traffic now. Heupel lies just ahead. Gaylord still tooled along in the number 3 spot. 4th belongs to John DeBenedetti. 5th is Nick Trenchard in the 54 car. As Peary closing into the traffic. 4 cars lie ahead of Colin Weinbarger. It gets real thick, real fast, and he's got to get out the blade. 28 laps scored into books. 7 laps to go. Travis Peary trying not to use up the race car, running down Superman up front. Colin Weinbarger, who I honestly believe last night had the car to beat. Now holds down that number 1 spot, but heavy lap traffic lies ahead. Trenchard has moved into the number 4 position. DeBenedetti shuffled back to 5th. 6th is Jesse Williamson, who's riding on the inside of the racetrack, dragging the left front tire around to rotate it through the corners. And he is going to clear John DeBenedetti this time by. Is up front to the outside goes Colin Weinbarger on Troy Morris Jr. in a 07X car. A handful of laps remain. 30 laps scored into books. 31 this time by for Superman. He has had such terrible luck this entire week. Tonight, maybe his night. Caution flag comes out. That's a game changer. Joey Price off the pace down in turn number 4. John DeBenedetti back on row number 3. 5 laps to go. Who's it going to be? As the crowd goes wild. Green flag flies and we're underway. Colin Weinbarger's got a good start. Superman down into turn number 1 and 2. Strapped on the cape, and he has got to run away and hide as Kryptonite's coming in the form of the 6P car. Able to power around Gaylord to 7R. Gaylord in the number 3 spot, dragging that left front tire around the berm. Looks like he has some damage to it, as a matter of fact. Left front is definitely way towed out on the 7R car, and somehow he's hanging on to the number 3 spot. DeBenedetti runs 4th as he gets around Jeremy Shank, who was in the number 5 spot. Alex Stanford's coming. He got around Williamson, and Stanford's trying to set sail on the top shelf. Around Trenchard, there's a big blast to the pass. Stanford beat coming through in the 98 car. Still dropped down low on the racetrack. Up front, Colin Weinbarger is going to bring it out of turn number 4 to lap number 33. 2 laps to go for Superman. Trying to hang on. That bad luck earlier on the week. So far, not striking tonight. Knock on wood. As Weinbarger pulls along in the number 1 spot. Still 3 wide racing back behind. Woggy to the inside of Nick Trenchard. And that little battle taking place for 6th on the field. The white flag comes out up front for Superman. Travis Peary's now under attack by Ryan Gaylord with that wounded left front end. As his time is occupied. The 2 red cars will duke it out for the number 2 spot, but number 1's uncontested and unmolested. Up front, double checkers. Colin Weinbarger picks up a win after an atrocious week of luck. Oh, my. That's the Colin Weinbarger we were looking for right there. Superman picking up the win on the final night of the Wild West Modified Shootout. Travis Peary will finish out 2nd. Flying Ryan Gaylord 3rd. Jeremy Shank is 4th. And rounding out your top 5, John DeBenedetti in the 21 car. That, race fans, is a done deal.